Welcome to Present Truth, prophetic perspectives on current affairs. I woke up this morning and I heard these words: I am a husband. God is a husband. A root of all mankind's problems is violations in marriage. A root of all mankind's problems is violations in marriage. Marriage represents the image of God. Mankind started with a marriage, and the violations within that marriage caused all the problems we have today. Paul told us that the marriage between a man and a woman was a reflection of Christ and his church, that the image of God can be seen in a marriage that God has ordained. This post and video is not to make an argument for what some call traditional marriage. There's no need for me to make an argument about what the Bible is very clear about. I'm not doing that. What I am here to say is that God is informing us in this hour that the big issue is not simply what's happening with people individually in terms of their relationships, but what is at root, what is at the heart of it, is the very image of God. God says, I am a husband. Oh, my Father. And so we've got to take a look at what's happening in our day and put it in the context of who God is and who we are. I read the Marriage Act, and one of the things that's said in here is the following statement. For example, discrimination against a married same-sex couple could be based on, listen to this, the sex stereotype that marriage should only be between heterosexual couples. So the idea is that if you purport to that point of view, that you are guilty of stereotyping. And so, embedded in all the rest of this law is a confrontation with what God says in his word and those who believe it. Oh, the days are coming more and more where the intensity to accept a point of view that's different than the word of God will continue to abound and get stronger and stronger and stronger, and many will cower down. And some are going to give in to the idea that if you love everybody, that means you have to accept their points of view on everything. Some will give in to the King of Salem, who said, the King of Sodom, who said, Abraham, I got you. Instead of giving in to the King of Salem, who says, Abraham, I got you. We're living in a day right now where there's a choice. Will you give in to the King of Salem, or will you give in to the King of Sodom? God says, I am a husband. And beyond the rhetoric and beyond the politicization and beyond the claims of equality, and beyond the claims of those and who believe like I believe, who are out of control, who have accepted the politicization of this issue for their own political gain, and not simply because God has said it. This is his word, and that's enough. The day is coming when that is coming to a clash. And now what is endeavoring to be codified in the law is that if you hold true to the Bible, you are stereotyping. God says, I am a husband. The very image of God is what is being challenged. But we know that this thing ends in a marriage too. And the great day is coming when Jesus will marry his bride. In the meantime, we give grace to everybody. Let me just go all the way with it. Sometimes those of us in the church have compromised when we looked in the mirror and have failed to address our own sins and have tried to challenge the world on theirs. If somebody doesn't know Jesus, the big issue is not whether or not they're homosexual or lesbian. That's not a big issue. The big issue for that person is, do you know Jesus? And can I help you? Can I help you to come to see how much he loves you? That's the big issue there. The big issue for the Christian is whether you will live and receive what God is saying. I said this 20 years ago, about 20 years ago, that the church needed to begin to deal with our young people and train them in these truths early on so that by the time they got to political office, they would execute laws based on the truth that's found in the Word of God. We want to change laws, but the church is in the business of changing people and raising up people who will change laws. I am a husband, God says. So we must not give in to the notion that to believe the Bible means we're stereotyping. The church must be that instrument of the love of God, which is also truthful. That love tells the truth, but is also gentle and patient and kind and merciful. That we must live in these two extremes of mercy and truth as the church, reflecting what it means to really be the bride of Christ. But oh, let this be a warning to those of you who give in to the King of Sodom. The same seed you sow there will grow up to be a root that works against everything you've invested in this life. Thy maker is thy husband, and he loves everything.